Trump stops mid-sentence during speech and delivers shocking message to three people he caught in crowd. The president has so many duties, many of which have to do with diplomacy and dealing with foreign leaders. To that end, the president and first lady have been in France, having what is considered to be a very successful time there. France and the United States, being longtime allies, have many dealings with one another, and President Trump is eager to make sure the issues held dear by himself and those who elected him are seen to. Even more important than diplomacy, though, is the president's role as commander-in-chief of the armed forces. He is the guy that not only commands those forces, but he should, and thankfully does, feel responsible for the soldiers, sailors and airmen after they come back home. Unlike our former president, our current commander-in-chief has a deep respect for those who have served. Because of this, he tries to express that respect and give honor to them whenever possible. That opportunity came when the president and first lady were with the French president and first lady to celebrate Bastille Day, which is somewhat like our fourth celebration. President Trump paused in his remarks to say something that should make all Americans thrilled that he represents us. The president arrived early Thursday morning and was whisked away from Paris-Orly Airport to the U.S. ambassador's residence in central Paris. The streets were closed off to traffic while Trump's motorcade drove past, but the cars on the tail end of his entourage took a wrong turn, drove into oncoming traffic and barely dodged a few pedestrians. The traveling press corps was among the lost cars and was not able to document Trump's arrival at the ambassador's residence. The White House would not immediately respond to a request for confirmation that Trump had arrived, though journalists were eventually brought to the residence to wait for the president's meetings to conclude. President Donald Trump is honoring American World War II veterans during a ceremony at the U.S. Embassy in Paris. The president is noting in a video clip posted to his Twitter account that the bonds between the U.S. and France were forged in the fires of war. Trump was joined at the outdoor event by three American veterans of the D-Day landings in Normandy in June 1944. The president is calling them real heroes who fought for freedom in its hour of need. Trump is meeting later this afternoon with French President Emmanuel Macron, and holding a joint news conference. Hearing our president give honor to those who served so many years ago is amazing to hear. The United States has been in need of a strong and steady leader who has our best interest at heart for almost a decade now, and knowing that President Trump has things in hand will help all of us sleep a little better. French President Emmanuel Macron reiterated not only his desire to keep the relationship between the United States and France close but also thanked our military for all that they've done for France over the years, saying Mr. Trump's presence at my side is a sign of an enduring friendship and I want to thank him. Nothing can ever separate us. I want to thank America for the choice made 100 years ago, said Macron during a speech at the end of the parade, thanking wounded soldiers for their service. Our military is in good hands for the first time in a long time, and knowing that is a comfort to us and trouble for our enemies, just as it should be. More about the president's trip from our source. Trump arrived in the French capital Thursday morning, hours before he meets with Macron to tackle potential solutions to the crisis in Syria and broader counterterrorism strategies. Trump's decision last month to withdraw the U.S. from the Paris Climate Accord sparked outrage across Europe, and anti-Trump protests are planned while he is in Paris. The leaders plan to hold a news conference after their talks. Trump may face tough questions about emails revealing that his eldest son welcomed the prospect of receiving Russian government support in last year's presidential campaign against Hillary Clinton. President Donald Trump and his French counterpart, Emmanuel Macron, are looking to set aside differences on trade and climate change and find common ground as they meet ahead of Bastille Day celebrations in Paris. President Donald Trump will be meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron, as part of his visit to France for Bastille Day celebrations in Paris. Trump arrived in Paris on Thursday morning, and was traveling to the U.S. ambassador's residence and then attending a luncheon with U.S. military leaders. He's also expected to tour the museums at Les Invalides, Les Invalides, with Macron and then holding meetings with the French leader. Trump and Macron are expected to discuss possible solutions to the crisis in Syria and counter-terrorism. The two leaders will appear later in the day for a joint news conference. Trump will be attending the Bastille Day celebrations on Friday before returning to the United States. First Lady Melania Trump has arrived at France's biggest pediatric hospital on her first engagement in the two-day French visit. The sprawling Necker Hospital is one of Paris' oldest and was founded in 1778. American artist Keith Haring gave a large, multicolored totem sculpture to the hospital in 1987, called the Tower. Melania Trump is touring the hospital shortly after her arrival in France with President Donald Trump aboard Air Force One. The First Lady was greeted by senior Paris medical officials during the tour and later met with some of the hospital's young patients. Reporters covering President Donald Trump's trip to Paris are getting off to a rather chaotic start after a segment of his motorcade was separated from him. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe Breaking News 365 channel. Goodbye and see you again.